Hello, world of Twitch. Team MMX here for our little Friday night chat tonight. And tonight we're going to be talking about what we've been doing in the hobby lately. Maybe a little brief preview of our event that we're all going to tomorrow. A recap of a game that some of the guys have had today. And most importantly, maybe a bit of a chat about Knights. They've hit in the scene this weekend. A lot of people have had previews and have a lot of stuff that out. So let's see how that goes. And first of all, let's get James and Mark in, not just me. There we go. There's a bit of problem with James's cam tonight, so we've got the most appropriate celebrity look-alike. So, you know me, it's Matt, founder of Team MMX. Let's get rid of Donald. See you, Donald. Up here, on my left, got James, second best ITC player in Europe last year. What a title that is. And up here to my right, got Mark, Europe's second best Deathwatch player, because someone had to. Alright guys, how's it going?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I'll never get tired of that introduction.
I think I'm going to change it every time, so this year you need to beat second best in Europe.
I'll see what I can do.
UK number one though, right?
Last year, yeah.
Okay, let's not big you up.
Do enough myself.
Mark, you alright?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, not too bad. Hurting a little bit after what James did to me earlier in our game, but I'm sure we'll get onto that.
Yeah. How about we start with what we've been doing in the hobby, and then get on to the game you guys had today, and then get on to some of the talking points. Hi MMX, yes. Hi Racy, we are live again. Trying to keep up the flow of shows here, so getting some content out every couple of days now. So, Mark, what have you been doing in the hobby?
Right, so James had recently given me some models to paint up for the event tomorrow that will be given away as prizes and also play a role as objectives for one of the missions. So I've been painting them up recently. I've also built some Kabalite warriors to move on and paint after that. Thinking about picking up a Blood Bowl team at some point soon, so I'll probably have them to paint before long.
Yeah, you've been telling me about some plans for a bit of Blood Bowl on the channel, so that's cool. Easy to stream for us. Maybe get some kind of league going on. I love a bit of sports ball. Not a big Blood Bowl fan myself, but that's just my interest. I can't get into it, but it's very popular. Crazy.
I've played a bit of Blood Bowl before. I've got a couple of teams that are half done, so if Mark gets on and does one, I'm sure I'll finish one up and we can put a bit of content in.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Won't commit to commentating because it won't be valuable. I'm sure I can film. I'm sure I can film and do some tech stuff, so that's cool. Pick some models for tomorrow. Let's do you want to briefly say what they are now, and we'll go into more detail when we do the show on that.
Yeah, so they are the Malifaux. What are they, James? Rotten Bellas, is it?
Malifaux, yeah.
They're essentially prostitute models, essentially. But yeah, they're actually quite cool. Annoying to put together because their Malifaux models are pretty small, so they don't have a lot of contact points, so it was difficult to get them to stick to the base. But I enjoyed painting them. So yeah, they look good. I'm sure the winners of them will be very happy with what I've done with them.
Excellent. Can't wait to. I can't wait to play tomorrow anyway. So I can't wait to.
Yes,
it's my first soft lads, so I can't wait to play with them.
One of the more bizarre tournaments we do.
James, what have you been up to in the hobby?
This week I've a bit scattergun really. I've had a few days off, went away for a bit, so I've not done a huge amount of painting. Finished up a couple more Gene Steel Cult models, and then mostly been building stuff. I finished up another weapons team, one guardsman to replace the one that I left to infest the London GT, because it's tradition to leave models behind. A new Primus I built, and then I've just been messing about with magnets. Just a few more weapons options for a Carnifex that I'm playing with. Tried out today as a bit of a proxy with Mark. Did reasonably well, so I'll get them painted up. But a little bit scattergun. I've got some new bits and bobs on order as well that should come out very nicely.
Maybe we'll get onto them in a bit when we get to the main talking point. Hobby-wise for me, surprisingly, actually attempted some painting this week and have started on some flash kits because, lo and behold, I will be playing Orcs in the event tomorrow. Played them at the start of the edition. New codex will be out soon, but I'm not swapping onto them yet. I'm going to be doing that whole, I played them from the start. when it drops. But for now, it's mainly just to have a soft list for tomorrow because apparently Custodes on jet bikes aren't suitable for a soft tournament. Who'd have thought? Tried it. Mainly that. I've got them to finish up tonight and do Bad Rook ready for tomorrow. But other than that, tried doing some building. Got some Alaris Custodes built. They're the Terminators. Got my Vansar out to try and build because I'm doing a Vansar Guard army, but it's taking big taxi for Vashkits. No, and no. I wish I had a Squig off, Sean. I've got a big Triceratops model to convert a Gargantuan one. I can't afford the Forge one yet, but I haven't got a normal Squig off yet. So they're not. To be fair, they're not even in a truck. I've got a Truck Boys mob. The tournament we're doing tomorrow, I will get onto a bit later. But it's mainly soft army, so it's non-competitive stuff. Really, nothing you see in a main competitive event. So yeah, Truck Boys are making a return. Way too many points to feature in a normal orc army, but they might be useful tomorrow. Oh, mate, I want to squig off so bad. I can see myself dropping so much money when the new Orc Codex comes out. Just like, I think last time I counted, I've got about 10,000 points of orcs. Like they're not all painted. I wish they were, but I don't think any orc general has that many points of painted orcs. But
I'm at about 5,000 or 6,000 points of painted orcs at this stage.
Oh man, I love orcs.
But very few boys. I went the all the big Gorkanor, lots of vehicles, lots of toys. I used to play Speed Freaks, so it's all in vehicles.
Oh, see, mine was 5th edition Truck Boys. So I had like 4 Truck Boys, Battle Wagon, and then just like the odd stuff, like Deathcopter stuff that I just picked up from time to time, and knobs. I think the last count I had something like 48 different knobs because the Assault on Black Reach ones were that cheap and easy to convert.
Yeah,
just man, I can't wait. But that's another show in itself. So yeah, I've been working on some orcs for tomorrow. Not a great deal more than that. Got some stuff I want to build, some stuff that I want to do some unboxing videos on, but other than that, not a lot of hobby other than that. So, gaming.
With what we're discussing, should we just talk a bit about soft lads now? Seems to be.
It seems natural to get onto it now. So, did you guys practice? Did you guys practice for soft lads today, or were you doing a different?
No. We played an ETC mission today, just having a look at Cali, which is the next big event that we're going to go to, 100-man event July. But what Soft Lads is last year we ran an ITC event, and our gaming group at the time sort of hadn't evolved to be as competitive as it is now.
Yeah.
So we all turned up with reasonably soft lists, and one guy came from out of town with a fairly nasty list. He's since been known as 7 Riptide Man ever since, because back in 7th that was a pretty solid list, and he proceeded to roll through most of the tournament. He actually took 2nd place in the end, and everyone decided they didn't really want to play 7 Riptides every week. It wasn't the most fun they'd ever had. So we invented Soft Lads, which is just a little 10-man event, and it features peer-reviewed lists. So the idea is you all write your army lists, you put them into, we use a Facebook group, and everyone gets to comment on it and tell you to take stuff out they think's too good. And you just sort of evolve your list to be a fairly soft creation that should be reasonably funny, definitely not something you'd see at a tournament. And then you play bizarre missions. So the one that Mark was painting the models for, he's painted 3 zombie prostitutes, and that's part of the Battle for the Brothel, where you fight over a massive brothel in the middle of the board, and the objectives are the prostitutes who actively run away from you throughout the game, so you have to constantly be chasing your objective. There's another one where you have to hold the tall buildings, but you also score additional points for leaping off the buildings to your death. So you're actively rewarded for killing your own army. And another one where you're chasing greased up squigs, who once you catch them, you score points, but they do then bite you and run off again.
I can't wait to play that with orcs.
So there's a couple of others as well that are just, one of them's Mordheim inspired. And you're basically doing a treasure hunt. You have to search the buildings on the board to try and find things, and once you found them, that's like a relic. Your army then has to carry it around. The enemy can come steal it from you. And there's one more, which is just straight up fight. There's a couple of objects on the board, but the main points of the mission are just kicking the hell out of each other. So throughout the event, the top prizes for sportsmanship and painting tomorrow. There's a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, but you win a lot more for winning best sports or best paint. The idea is to turn up, have a laugh, have a bit of fun, play with nice, gentle lists. Mark is epitomising that. with his.
There is nothing gentle about my list, James. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Mark. Do you want to run us through your list, Mark? Just quickly, what you've got.
Yeah. I got a couple of Exalted Champions and I think a Chaos Lord as my HQ, just running the 1 battalion. Then I've got 40 Tactical Marines, I think, or Chaos Space Marines. I always call them Tactical Marines because they're running off a Heresy army. So, yeah, I've got 40 Marines in there, 4 Auto Cannons, which, as we know, are the best weapon in the game, 5 Possessed, which I have high hopes for after Imps, 5 Raptors, a Hellbrute with a multi-melter, and a Vindicator. Vindicators are probably my least favourite vehicle because they have never done well for me in any scenario. I hate that thing with a passion, so naturally it's coming with me to soft lads.
Okay. I personally took the would never see it as a tournament quite literally and went, well, I'm going to play Genestealer Cult because I think they're probably the worst army in the game at present. I wrote this list before I took a stronger version of it to Imps and did quite well with it. There's way reduced numbers of Genestealers. I've got a bunch of Acolytes in there who are extremely expensive for Strength 4 Guardsmen. They're nearly triple the cost of a Guardsman for a dude with a knife and a pistol. It's not ideal. I've taken out the Patriarch because he was tough as nails, and I genuinely can't. I've looked at my Imps list, and I've lost 250 points of Genestealers, and I honestly can't see what I've put in for the 500 points. It's just like, it's the Impulse list and some random filler. I don't really know what I've spent the points on. So it's going to go well, I think.
You are the defending champion of soft lads.
I am, yes. Last time I played with a Thousand Sons Rubric Marine list before they had a Codex, and was spending 33 points a model for a Marine, essentially.
I remember that list. I had the pleasure of playing it round 2.
Yeah.
I guess you lost.
He was playing Death Watch, which isn't ideal against a bunch of Marines with AP -2.
No, it is not.
And Matt, you are running Orcs, obviously, but what in particular?
Well, last time I wrote a soft lads Orc list, it was really terrible. So this time, I turned to you, mainly because I was at work and bored, and I could get you to send me a list that I could read, which would be more interesting. Because I had to wait till appropriate break time to read it, but oh well. So HQ-wise, Badrook, my boy. Don't see him as I don't see him, but ever since the start of the edition, he's just amazing. I love him. I've got to get him painted tonight though. No, 120 boys. No, that isn't soft. There is boys, but they're not like 120. I wouldn't even finish a game with 120 boys. That'd take me too long. So Badrook, War Boss with the relic, Head Whoppers Kill Chopper. Great name. Fucking amazing name.
Fantastic.
I've not actually played Orcs since Chapter Approved, so first time I'm using that. Can't wait. Unit of 25 boys with a knob, unit of 25 boys with a knob. No gun upgrades, obviously. The knobs have got power claws. Unit of 11 boys with a knob to go to truck. Truck with a rocket launcher. Why the rocket launcher? I had 6 points left in my list, and I thought it'd be really fun. It's soft, lads. I'm gonna count what that rocket does all day. But 2 single death copters. They're terrible. I'm thinking they're probably going to half price in the Codex, but
those bombs are funny.
Those bombs are funny. Flash kits. Let's see how many times I forget to roll and see if they shoot again. I can't wait for that. A Gorkanaut. Playing Gorkanauts at the start of the edition, running 2 some games. They don't do anything. They're scary, but they just die. Truck to go with the truck, please. And a Waz Bomb Blaster Jet. Why? Because I heard someone talking about it online, and I really wanted to go to a game and say, if this model shoots you with teleport blasters and I roll above your wounds, your model's gone. It doesn't do anything. The list, the boys are the list there, and I'm just going to get shot. I'm taking nearly the same list as did to take to a tournament. Primaris Horde. Oh, Primaris Horde. Yeah. Primaris Hordes are good in a soft lads list.
They're not bad.
If you take them as Death Watch, they become increasingly bad.
Yeah.
I think new Primaris would have been new Death Watch would have been good at soft lads.
Oh, yeah. At that point limit, I think they'd have genuinely done quite well.
Yeah. It's a bit of a weird one because both yours and mine's list from last soft lads have since got codexes and definitely would be soft nowadays.
Yeah, I think my last one had like 4 frag cannons in.
I think by the time you get a Gene Stealer Cult Codex, I know we've not really seen anything. Do I need to borrow some painted boys? I do. I am borrowing them from James. Actually, weirdly, I think in terms of boys, because I used to run them in 4th edition and 5th edition, I think I actually have boys painted. So I've taken boys to events before. Weirdly, it's the boys that I have painted in my Orc army. I've got like 90 boys that are mostly painted, I think.
Yeah, it's Matt's list is, I think, except for the Flash Gits and the Badrock, I think I'm lending Matt everything else for his list because it's painted.
Yeah. And
but this is a running theme as we go along following MMX. We'll quickly discover that Matt's army lists tend to be about 90% my models. Reasonably accurate.
Normally happens that I own the models, they're just not painted.
Yeah.
1 second.
Thank you very much to our latest follower, who is, I butcher pronunciation on words the best of times, so someone else can try and pronounce that.
Cyphus Blackadder, who I believe is big MMX fan, fan of the stream, Dave Walker. No relation.
Oh,
I believe that might be Dave, judging by the Primaris army, but that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
You guess so.
So, soft lads, it's going to be fun. What we'll do is probably do another recap show next week on that, go through the list again, just in case anyone new's watching, and go through our games and the results. But it's not prizes aren't based around who wins first. Sorry.
No.
So
there's small prizes for first, second, third, and last place. You get same prize for all 4, and then best sports and best painted are much more heavily rewarded because it's a friendly tournament. You're meant to play it in the right attitude, and the way you approach it is meant to be all about the fun. And also, it's a hobby and soft event, so we'll reward the best painting award as well.
Yeah, can't wait. I'm not going to win. Not going to win best painted. Probably won't win best sports, but it should be good fun.
I don't think I'll win either. But
you have won best sports
possibly
before.
Because I'm pretty sure my best sports vote is going to go out the window because Soft Lads also allows one more thing, which is for your first round, you're allowed to call out grudge matches, and if both players agree, you can pick your opponents. And having taken a whooping a few times from me, a certain MMX member decided to try his luck and shout out an extremely confident challenge to me for round 1.
I think you'd be confident as well if you had 4 autocannons, James. I think there's a scenario where I lose round 1 tomorrow, but we'll see.
Well, there may well be after round 1 if you follow our Twitter, which you should anyway, because it's a chance to win a Knight Armiger. Cheap plug. You should anyway. It's over whichever side I'm.
What's the what? Yeah. What?
So it's over there somewhere.
It's over somewhere.
Basically, boom.
Check where my face is.
If you look up there's our competition. If you look over here, there's our social media links. So Twitter @TeamMMX, Facebook @MMX Stream, and Instagram @Team_MMX. If you follow us on Twitter at the moment and retweet our pin post, chance to win a Knight Armiger. Once we hit 50 followers on Twitch, which is, I think, progressing faster than our Twitter followers, we'll put another Knight in as well. So that's 2 Knight Armigers. And maybe we'll try and find some more stuff. Knight Codex comes out this weekend. They're going to go. In fact, I think Forge Bane's on back order at places at the moment as well. It's been popular.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Gotta wait for that. So let me take that down. So maybe I'll leave that up. It's just me and Mark on stream now, yeah. But yeah, definitely worth following us on Twitter for that.
If you follow our Twitter, I'm sure after round 1, we'll put up a picture of Mark crying for the end of round 1.
I think I'll try and get a 10 by 10 update on my Instagram and on the MMX Instagram as well. So be sure to check that out. You'll see James get visibly, more and more beat as the game goes on.
What is your Instagram, Mark? I know you use the Team MMX one. Do you have your own as well?
It is Xeno_evil MMX. So be sure to check that one out. A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, you're a really good painter, so it's good. Right.
Nice.
I think that's soft lads covered.
Yeah.
So you had a game today.
We did. We played one of the Cali missions. Well, the Cali Pack's not actually done missions yet. They've given us a pool of missions they'll be picking from, so we rolled randomly on that, and we wound up playing 2,000 points, Tyranids and Genesteel Cult versus Mark's Alpha Legion.
Alpha Legion.
Word bearers who pretend to be Alpha Legion, which is a very Alpha Legion thing to do.
It is.
So yeah, we rolled up resupply drop, because every single time I roll for a Cali mission, I play a resupply drop. And deadlock. We were playing Frontline Assault, which is pointy gun war. The game sort of, I won first turn, and Mark's whole army was in close combat with Genesteelers before he got a turn.
Yes, that happened.
It progressed with, I'd actually done my cult ambush with the Genesteel cult side to take his quad heavy bolters hostage so that he couldn't just dack my army off the board.
Mm-hmm.
And due to some decent shooting rolls, I actually killed all the quad heavy bolters before I got to charge them, which sort of tells you how that game goes. It also helped that I drew 6 cards, and using the Cali Pack, you can only score 3 cards a turn, so you have to declare which 3 you're going to score.
Yeah.
I drew 6 and could score all 6, so I just picked the 3 I wanted. Mark drew 6 and could score 0 because he drew every single objective in my deployment zone.
Yes.
That was a continuing theme for the game, and to be honest, it just turned.
That's one of the main issues with deadlock, in that your amount of objectives get progressively smaller each turn. So turn 1 you start with 6, then it goes to 5 in the next turn, 4 in the next turn. But you can only actually discard 1 card per turn, and you can only capture 3.
Yeah.
So if you've drawn a bad hand, you're stuck with that for a large majority of the game. Which obviously, if it is a case of going into James's deployment zone and capturing those objectives, I'm probably stuck with that for at least 3 turns, just trying to get rid of stuff. And when you're locked in combat with Genesteelers, that becomes increasingly more difficult.
I've had exactly the same scenario when I was playing my Orcs at the start of the edition, and if you can't get those first turn or second turn, if you can't get them in, you're just stuck with them. You can't do anything about it, and it's like I find it a flaw in the mission because we play so much ITC. I find it's pure RNG, and like you said, James, you can either draw the right cards and score big straight away and draw new cards, or you can be completely fucked by the mission. And it
was one in that game where I held probably 5 of the 6 objectives all game, but literally every single turn I was drawing cards and just going, well, I'll just pick any of these 3. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It was just every single turn it was that these are all automatics, they're just give me's.
Whatever scores highest.
Yeah. And Mark's pinned in his own deployment zone because that's what my army does. And he just didn't have a chance. I don't think he scored a single card throughout the game. And it's just,
it was savage.
That's not me, completely annihilating him or anything. It's he drew awful hands. Yeah. I
did not look like that after the game finished.
After my movement phase, and as you can see, there's a unit of Steelers next to that big building in the middle. There's another unit in the top right-hand corner. I opened fire and removed probably a quarter of the army, then hit the rest of it with Genesteelers, and that was that, really.
Man, you look so happy at that point.
Yeah, I know what's coming, but I'm putting on a brave face.
I like the double card effects.
Yeah, it was a new thing that I'm trying out. The chap who came second with got the second highest Tyranid score at London, I think he was running 12 or 15 card effectors.
Wow. Yeah, they all different data sheets, don't they? So you can run multiples.
Yeah, you can. I think he was running 9 of the standard and 6 of the Thornbacks, which are the cover ignoring ones. And I had a look at it. I don't think there's great value in it. I actually think it's a little bit overcosted for what it does. Which I think, having it played today, I think Mark would probably agree with. It's not.
Yeah, in terms of sort of what they do, there's nothing.
No, it didn't do anything that 6 more hive guard, which is my preference, would have done anyway. So I don't know. I quite like the heavy venom cannon because it's strength 9, and with the potential new knight meta that's going to come in, strength 9 is going to become pretty valuable over strength 8. But
Yeah.
I'm not convinced it's good enough to make up for what it does. But gave it a go. I'll probably try it a few more times, try it in some other opponents as well, because Mark did only bring one vehicle, really. He had one Leviathan.
Yes.
But I was shooting heavy venom cannons at Marines for part of that game, which obviously isn't a terribly efficient way to use them. Yeah, so that game wound up. I don't even bother to tally the score in the end. It was Mark got tabled turn 3 or 4.
Yeah, that army is just so good at tying. The moment you got turn 1, I was like, this is going to be such a difficult game. Just because I can't move, you know?
No. I think in your first turn you could shoot with maybe 2 or 3 units because I've consolidated into everything to stop you firing.
Yeah.
Which, once you see on stream, that's sort of what my army's built to do. It can't take a good punch. My army's quite fragile, but it's incredibly fast and very dangerous once it's into you. So that's sort of the idea. If I'd let Mark shoot me with 40 bolters and 3 quad heavy bolters, I probably don't have much of an army to hit him with. But yeah, so it was a fun game. We had a nice time anyway. We always do.
Yeah, I enjoyed the game. You know, it was good that I physically couldn't do anything, so I could relax.
Ooh.
Sorry, there's a bit of background out there. There you go. You couldn't do anything, so you could just chill out and watch James surgically take apart your army.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the comment, I think, in Mark's turn 3 when he had 2 Marines and an Exalted Champion left and I was starting my turn. I declared to him that I was going to kill him in the shooting phase because I had a card to kill someone in the shooting phase, and that's how I was going to table him. I had everyone in range already, but I still took the time to move my whole army just in case I didn't kill him with my entire army shooting, which Mark liked to point out.
No worry.
And I never turn off the sheer violence that can come out. Max aggression all the time.
Yeah. I'll never concede though, James.
No.
I'll play until my last model's dead in every game that we play. So yeah, I think that was our game in a nutshell. It wasn't particularly eventful, I don't think. I think it exposed a large amount of flaws in a tournament system that none of us are particularly fond of, but it's something that gets used quite commonly.
Yeah,
probably something we'll cover in a different discussion, probably after Cali, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
we were fairly vocal about the ETC system. I really don't like Maelstrom cards. I think they're very fun. I think that if you're going to play battle points where your score is so important, and Maelstrom cards which are so random number generator, you're just asking for a skewed result at tournaments. I think the ITC is such a vastly superior system for scoring.
Yeah, I agree. I prefer the games much more. But yeah, hello, David Holt. Yes, I have a beard trim. Thank you. Thanks for noticing. Appreciate it. So what pops up a minute ago was something I was about to put on screen, which I probably should have done during the hobby section. But this is the some of the work you guys have been doing and putting on Twitter this week.
Yes.
Goliath there, I think you took that on Sunday to the tournament, James.
Yeah, both the Goliath and the Icon Ward were painted in about 3 hours on Sunday morning event because I needed to use them both. I actually forgot the Icon Ward was in my list that I'd submitted, so I started painting that about 10:30 at night. Just always a good
I
start.
like the purple on the Goliath there, and Mark. Jeans Circles. Woo! Hello, Chris. Yes. and Mark. That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, it was just something that I had. I picked it up at the last bring and buy that me and you went to after getting a bit of cash because I figured this was pre Harlequin's Codex release. I was like, I'll probably want to run a detachment of them when their Codex finally drops, and I was totally right because Harlequins can do some pretty nasty stuff when taken as a support detachment.
I Always watching. Ever vigilant. That's me. Yeah, that's gorgeous, man. I don't have any pictures of my work to put up, and no one would want to watch it anyway. So let's stick to that. Crit Viewer just followed. Thank you for following Crit Viewer. Not only is it good that you follow us on here, if you follow us on Twitch, you follow us on Twitch. If you follow us on Twitter, you get a chance to win an Armageddon night, and you followed us on Twitch, so there's nearly a chance to get 2 nights. So worth popping up and following us on Twitter as well, or other social media, just to see when we're streaming. So yeah, that was good. Pictures, hobby recaps done, games recap done. I haven't played any games this week. I've been busy. Got quite a busy weekend coming up, prepping for Renegade and all the night stuff coming out. So that might be a good topic for us to go to next, James. Some news we've got. But me and Mark are going to the War Boot at Element this Sunday. So if anyone's going there, just say hi. We'll have a chat with you. B, hoping to get some bargains there, hoping to sell some stuff, and have a good day out after the event tomorrow.
It was a lot of fun last time.
Oh, it was a lot of fun.
Really enjoyed it.
Matt doesn't play games, but Matt is playing 4 games tomorrow? 3 games tomorrow? Is it
3 games?
3 games tomorrow. There we go. Matt gets his. I get my tournament games in. I don't practice. I just play events.
Plays where it matters.
Yeah.
You actually do remarkable. You and me are sort of polar opposites of tournament players. In that I build lists that evolve over time throughout a lot of playtesting, and I play a hell of a lot of games. And you tend to pick up some random thing that you found, play 1 game with it before the event, then roll through the event and do pretty well with it anyway.
Yeah. It's not even it took Custodes to London, but it's not always the net. Like I didn't play Eldar. I was playing Demons at Warhammer.
Yeah, did Nodal Demons, then the Custodes before that. You were playing Bash Bros.
Yeah, Magnus Mortarion and all that stuff. Just didn't play events.
Yeah.
But, however, in the future there's Tau. In the future there's Orcs. However, I already had a Knight army. I've got Knights in the shed. I've got Knights on sprue in the shed. But there's a new Knight Codex coming out this Saturday, and there's some new Knights coming out this Saturday. Now, I already had some Armigers. We're giving some Armigers away. I already had my own Armigers. 1 second. I did nearly play Eldar. Right, 2 questions here. Okay, so yes, me and my friend Dave did buy a large collection of Eldar that was beautifully magnetized, beautifully built. It was cleaned up so nice, and there was the core part there of what has been the net list since LVO.
Yeah.
And I was really tempted. Fortunately, common sense got the better of me, and we moved it and sold it on. But I was so tempted just to keep it. They were gorgeous.
Yeah, it was stunning.
Secondly, Nurgle Warlord Chris was my Nalmor, which is no longer allowed unless you play Nids, and then you can use a Spore Mine. Yeah, your mate Gav Thorpe has some of that Eldar, so yeah, that's cool. But yeah, back to the topic at hand. Imperial Knights. I already had Knights in the shed.
To clarify before we move, there is nothing wrong with a Spore Mine being in charge of your army. He's a very legitimate. The Spore Lord lives long. We all love him. Technically,
if you want to get fluffy, it's a hive mind. Any part of your army could, any part of it could be the war boss. The war boss? Warlord. Get my orcs in.
Fluffy.
But nice. Nice route tomorrow. So today I have ordered a Valiant, Castellan?
Yes.
And a pack of Helverins. Probably end up getting more Helverins, because they are really good. But I'm going to get them, build them. Probably going to airbrush them myself, I think, and try and improve in my airbrush. It's hard to think about doing that and not ruining the models, because they're expensive models, but I really want to improve that skill. And what's that noise? Someone else bought a Knight today? Hang on. What? Someone's getting like a live news report now that James bought a Knight. Whoa, Mr. doesn't play Imperials has purchased a Knight. Is this live? We're going out live. Can't take that back.
It's disappointing as well.
You bought 3 Knights. Wow.
Knights. Yeah, I picked myself up a Valiant and 2 Helverins. But they're not Imperial. My Knights are in fact going to be purple. They're going to be pulled apart, and because everybody is just a Genestealer and a cloak, I'm going to play Genestealer Cult Knights. Probably with some Genestealers and cloaks AbMech, and some Genestealers or Guardsmen wearing purple Guard. Because
just 1 second, James. Am I right in thinking that Helverin's are armed with a very specific type of gun?
Yes, they are. It's the vastly superior to autocannons Helverin autocannon, which is
but it is an autocannon.
I think it still includes the word autocannon there. hang on. Let's go to the video judge.
Yep.
Yes. The judge has it. Autocannons and Helverin autocannons share the word autocannon.
I see. Well, unfortunately, then I will be selling 2 Helverins. That's a turn up for the books.
Sold.
There's. Shall we just get on with knights and what knights do and things?
Yeah, I mean,
because I did a little bit of maths on the 2 knights to decide which one I wanted. Because firstly, Harpoon's really cool, and I wanted the model with the Harpoon. And Massive Flamer, really cool, wanted the model with the Flamer. So I did the maths on these. No, Dave, no. The Harpoon is the worst of the 4 weapons, mathematically, just because single-shot weapon, needing to hit, wound, and get through the invuln save, anything you really want to shoot with a 10-damage weapon probably has an invulnerable save. Yeah. Then the Plasma weapon, because not only can you hurt yourself, it's also the second least efficient weapon. The Volcano Cannon's reasonably good, but almost twice as much damage for the equipment you can get the Flamer. And then you look at the Overwatch numbers, and they all go down to 1 or 0.8, I think, is what you get out of a Volcano Cannon for the average damage. Whereas the Flamer is still sitting up around 18, 19 damage because it doesn't roll to hit. It's just devastating. Combine it with the strat where you can Overwatch anyone charging units within 12, and the Flamer Knight is horrifying. It's just one of the most terrifying things in the game that you can charge. Short of the Yavara.
Yeah. What's that, Tau? We do it better.
I don't think there's anything else in the game you'd like to charge less than Valiant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bible.
So
that flamer arm is
just absolutely nuts. Yeah, I think they're very interesting units. I still am not convinced that they're a tournament-winning army in their own right. I think you need to go light on knights and reasonably heavy on the allies to actually have anything on the board to play with.
Yeah, you need the CP from... Ideally, you need CP farm, and you definitely need a CP boost from a battalion or brigade of something cheap like Guard.
I'll go on a limb and say no serious event, no GT or major is going to be won by pure knights.
I'd be happy to see it. I would lean along your way of thinking.
I think that it's not even the CP. You can get by without the CP. You want them. You definitely want the command points, but you can play without the command points to a degree. Because realistically, you're going to spend all your command points on making nice characters and giving them relics before the game starts. Yeah.
Thank you, Greg, for following. Just to skip in. Thank you, Greg, for following.
Yes, thank you, Greg. Other than that, what you really want is the OBSEC bodies and screens, because screen 40k is still very much a thing. You need to be able to protect people. There are some things you just do not want touching your knights, which we'll get onto in a minute when we talk about how to fight knights, because the best way to kill them is definitely punching them. Yep. You need bodies, because knights is one dude. Most of them don't have OBSEC. I think there's one, you can make one have OBSEC and count as 10 models. But other than that, you're just going to get shoved off objectives. That, someone can walk 2 direction up to you and you're done. You don't hold that anymore.
That's the thing.
Obviously those 2 Gretchen aren't going to stay there very long, but long enough to steal the objective from you.
Yeah, it's a case of end of game scoring as well. Really hampers something like knights. If you're going second and you can set up just so you can sweep in with 2 Gretchens and just take every objective, then there's not really a counter to that.
Yeah, and if you're looking at stuff like the ITC missions or the defend cards it's going to be seriously hard to hold objectives in your opponent's turn or to hold more in the ITC missions, because if your opponent has a counterpunch, has an opportunity to go second and try and take them off you, you're in real trouble. Of course, a lot of opponents aren't going to choose to go second because you generally don't want to give knights first punch. But it'll come down to that, what kind of opponent you're playing, whether they think they're going to fight you off the board or whether they're going to try and point you off the board.
It's going to be so dependent on what mission pack the event's running, or if you just played a friendly game, what mission you're playing, whether it's progressive, whether it's end game, whether it's objective based, or whether it's kill points. That's the problem with book missions. How do you beat knights at kill points? They're going to have some guard there. You kill the guard and stuff, but you're going to need to kill those knights as well. And any fire or fight you put into them is going to be taxing. Now, what Chris just said a minute ago, that you're going to need an army to play knights. You are going to need an army to play knights, and if they're not going to be at the top of events, which we don't know yet, they're going to be gatekeepers. They're going to be the gatekeeper list that you need to beat. If you get one round 1, if you get one round 2 or 3, you need to beat it, and you need to beat it fast. Fast enough and well enough to get the points out of it. You need the points out of it to score well.
Yeah, it's stuff like ETC scoring, where you're playing battle points. You have to be able to 20-0 knights unit if you want to win a major.
Yep.
When you're building your list, you've got to be able to 20-0 knights. Otherwise, you're not winning that event. Yep. It's one of them. Obviously, matchup luck comes into it. But when you're writing a list to win a major, you've got to account for certain things. And one of those things is you need a way to kill 120 boys. One of those things is that you need a way to kill knights. One of those things is you need a way to survive the Reaper and Shining Spear spam, because you're going to encounter something similar to those somewhere online. The 120 boys isn't so much a thing anymore. The Green Tide thing, obviously, it did very well at Warhammerfest, but other than that, it's not seen a lot. But you see the more defensive side of that with the Plague Bearer spam list instead, which everywhere in London there were dozens of the bloody things. So I fought 2 of them. They're great fun. Thanks, Matt.
Sorry, I'm just trying to do something with it.
It's a phenomenal competition, though. It's definitely
definitely
worth another viewing.
I can't wait till I win it.
I'm just trying to put it down here to do that, so people can, I don't want to keep saying it all the time. That's bad form.
People can read. Just to clarify, I cannot win that award. Just to be clear.
What, the night? Yeah, there's going to be, we all follow each other on Twitter, but we're not going to win this. It's not going to be.
We will remove ourselves.
In fact, to be fair, I'll probably draw it live on Twitch.
Yes.
And redraw it if it's one of us.
Draw that live. If it is one of us, we will briefly celebrate, then put it back in the pot.
One thing, Chris. Oh, sorry, someone just missed the chat on something else. Stream is much better now. Thank you, Dave. One thing Chris just said is, out of the ITC missions, where do you think knights will fare well? Bit of a weird question because it's champs missions.
Well, it's the secondaries that are relevant. It'll obviously do well at kill and kill more for the throughout missions, because how the hell are you going to kill more when your opponent has 4 units? It needs to kill. Realistically, you're going to kill maybe 1 knight a turn, maybe, possibly not even that. So you won't get the kill point a lot of the times against them. And you're almost never going to get the kill more. So that's 2 points you're going to struggle with out of the original 5. The bonus is generally hard to get as well. So realistically, you're probably going to go 2 or 3 points, because you should hold more. And that's going to be all you're going to score turn by turn. The secondaries, knights will struggle with Titan Slayer, because it's basically an auto max. You need to do 32 points to the knight army throughout the course of the game. Very easy. 32 wounds, 4 points. You'll have, if you're playing pure knights, you're making a knight your warlord. So at that point, knights are characters, which you'd have to do anyway for the relics and stuff. So Kingslayer is very easy to take from knights. You just take 16 points on them. 16 wounds, sorry, I keep saying points instead of wounds. They're obviously not going to give up Reaper. They're not really going to give up... they don't give up Big Game Hunter, because they give up Titan Slayer, and you can't give up both. Headhunter is possible if you go really heavy on the strats and make multiple characters, but it's not one that you'd really want to pick. Recon should be quite easy to get against knights, because they haven't got a lot to keep you out of zones. They can't sort of zone you out with models. Same for behind enemy lines, because if you get behind them, they probably can't divert the resources to go kill, say, a squad of Rippers or something like that that's sat in their deployment zone. They're going to be far too busy fighting the actual...
Especially if you can get out of line of sight of them. They've got they've got the missile pods on the top, but they're extra points. You're going to have the big new knights are going to have those missiles on, but they're not going to be shooting those missiles at a unit of Rippers.
The new knights missiles need line of sight.
Ooh, do they? I know they do it with the stratagem. I just presume that they didn't.
Yeah. With the strat, they don't, and they can target characters.
Yeah,
I believe they need line of sight normally.
Can you take Titan Slayer and Big Game on different nights? Titans, you don't take them on either Dave and Hull. You just take them as generic secondaries. So Big Game would be one for each night you kill.
Yep.
Titan Slayer is cumulative across the full nights.
Every 8 wounds you do to a model with the Titan keyword. So that doesn't even have to be on the same model. You could do 2 wounds to each night. You've scored 8 wounds.
Interestingly, someone did ask on Frontline Gaming stream this week if they're going to change the Champions missions to be more friendly to knights, obviously with the objectives, and including the secondaries you've just said as well. And one thing they did say is they are going to be looking at them. They didn't reference anything specific to knights, but they did say that perhaps Celestine is taking a bit more of a beating than she should be at the moment. And other stuff. So they're definitely going to be looking at them, so we might see some changes in the near future on that basis.
One of the things that's been discussed before when talking about Champions missions that I know Reese and Frankie were looking at is units getting hit for multiple secondaries. So it might become a thing where you can't get Headhunter for the character that you Kingslayer, for example. That'll just be a lot less crossover, because at the moment they've got, if you take a Lehman Russ tank commander, character gets Big Game hunted, Headhunted, and Kingslayer all at once.
Good question, Chris. Celestine should always take a beating, just for being Celestine and coming back.
I actually had a really. I apologise to Eddie for this story, but we had a good one a little while back. Eddie has been playing Celestine the whole way through the edition. Prior to the edition as well, he's been a long time Sisters player, so fair play to him. But he successfully killed Celestine in his own turn 1 by charging my Florent and dying, and then a turn later charged the same Florent again with Celestine and died. So I successfully killed Celestine twice in my opponent's turn with the same Florent. So it's one. I just like to rub that one into Eddie every so often.
You don't have the best of luck against you, does Eddie?
No, he's usually got a harebrained scheme or two when it comes to me. I seem to set off the bad ideas train in Eddie's mind, and he just keeps running straight down that track.
Well, hopefully we can get him on stream at some point when we've got a battle report.
Definitely.
And we can see if he comes up with a harebrained scheme, because we can have a little interview with either of you before the game, see what the plan is, and then see how that unfolds. So that could be interesting.
There's been some heroic ones to date. Some of them sound better than others. As of yet, they've not worked amazingly, but he does love. He always comes way to left field with them, so he'll catch me out with it sooner or later.
Let's see what happens there.
Yeah, be good to have Eddie on stream.
So that covers knights related to the ITC. And we covered how to beat knights in terms of mission, perhaps, in normal games. Now, everyone is going to have to beat knights. Everyone's going to have to go to kill knights now.
Yeah.
The meta, if people were taking anti-tank before, they need to take more anti-tank now. But knights are going to shift up that meta. I've been running custodes. 4 knights is scary. Now I can hold them in combat because they can't move out if they move over me. But they're putting me on, even with their stomp, they're putting me on my invulnerable save, and every 2 hits that go through kill a custode.
Yep. Your other problem as a custode player is as everyone scales up their anti-tank to get rid of knights, they're scaling up their anti-tank to get rid of you as well.
Exactly.
You do not want to get hit as a custode. I'm just going to quickly run the numbers on custodes hitting knights. Because why not? Let's do that.
Okay, Leroy. Yeah. It's the wounding them on 5s. I fought knights at London with mine, and if you can't roll those, even with the rerolls and the charge, if you can't roll those 5s well enough, you're going to be stuck there, and you're going to lose those jet bikes.
Yeah,
you can't afford to be losing them.
Each custode, what's the AP on a custode? Is it -3 or -2?
-3.
So yeah, each Custo bike with the rerolls is doing about 2.5 damage to a knight, which isn't enough. With 7 of them,
Yep.
You're going to be doing what, 17 damage?
Yep.
Something like that. 7's about as big a unit as you'll ever see of the bikes. The Hurricane Bolters are fairly terrible at fighting them on the grounds, and even the 6s to wound. You'll get some through, but probably 7 Custo bikes might, you're really pushing it, just about kill a normal knight.
And you'll lose that bike unit in a turn. You'll lose 7 in a turn to a knight army. It's just simple. You can't hide a bike unit that size, and a smaller bike unit won't do the damage and will die easier. It's simple. I've played Shadow Swords with the Custodes, and they do just die. They get swallowed up, and if you fail those invulns, which you will because there's a 4-up, you start losing them.
Yeah. And one thing Knight armies do very well, they don't have great AP, but they're actually very well built to fight Custodes because they have enough AP on almost all their weapons to knock them onto their invulnerables.
Yeah, you just need -2.
Yeah, the kicking feet, the battle cannons, the Avenger Gatling are all -2. Which the way to kill Custodes bikes is to do multiple damage weapons that frequently put them on their invulns. But yeah, the other aspect of that is people are going to be scaling up their anti-tank guns to shoot knights, and I'm not convinced the best way to deal with them.
Okay.
Running the maths on it, it's almost identical for las cannons and missile launchers. Missile launchers are slightly worse off because they win on 4s, but you're looking at 1 Marine holding a las cannon, assuming no rerolls. You're looking at probably 1 damage for a Marine with a las cannon.
Yeah.
That's all you're going to do on average. So you need 24 Marines with las cannons to kill a knight, which isn't ideal,
No,
that's not scaling in knights being able to take relics, knights being able to take the house where they shrug wounds on 6s, rotating ion shields, all that sort of stuff. Once you do that, it's going to go down. The better way to kill knights, there are 2 efficient ways to kill knights, and some people who do those better than others.
Okay.
Your most efficient ways to kill knights are mortal wounds.
Yep.
So smite spam specifically is a good way to do it. Some armies do that quite well. I'm personally reasonably a fan of it. My turn is for rerolling 1s on Neurothroats and the Psychic Scream. A lot of other armies get access to another version of Smite that isn't Smite, so they don't get hit by the beat Smite rules. Like you've got stuff like Infernal Gaze for Chaos. Trying to think who else comes up with stuff like that. Demons have a couple. But yeah, that works. Thousand Suns in particular are the kings of doing it because they don't take the beat Smite problem. Weirdly, Magnus is one of the best ways to kill knights, and also one of the things that knights will love to kill the most. Because if Magnus doesn't get his buffs off, the knights should just demolish him.
Yeah.
It's not even close, they just take him apart. But by the same token, Magnus with D6 Smite and then charging in and hitting knights, Magnus is pretty much going to kill a knight in combat. Plus his D6 Smites, he'll just run straight through one.
That's the big thing. Getting past that invulnerable save on them it just makes.
Oh, you don't have to. They don't get their invuln in combat.
I meant with the smite, sorry, just the mauling thing until.
Yeah. The main reason that I think knights are easy to get rid of in combat is because that 5-up invuln doesn't sound like a lot, but it's huge. If you're firing multi-damage heavy weapons, you're not firing high rate of fire.
Yep.
Which means that 5-up invuln is shrugging 1/3 of like D6 damage weapons.
Yeah.
It tanks.
It works. It works really well, and if you roll above average with it, it's massive. It changes the game.
Yeah.
One or two extra 5s can change the game.
Yeah, and you just know it's always going to hit. It's one of them where you can't bank on getting past a 5-up invuln ever.
So,
but smite spam's one option. The other option, Mark was writing a list earlier today with 20 Khorne Berserkers in.
Khorne Berserkers are particularly good at taking out knights in combat, to be totally honest. When you get the right stuff off on them, you're going to want to be taking Prescience to get that +1 to hit, which then triggers their Death to the False Emperor on a 5 rather than a 6.
Yep.
So you've got Khorne Berserkers at 2 attacks each, hitting on 2s, and 5s and 6s generate extra attacks. The unit of 20 will just shred them because you get to attack twice as well.
Yep.
You're obviously taking chain axes, so you're like strength 6, using Veterans of the Long War, so you're wounding knights on 4s in combat at -1 AP, which with that amount of attacks, and then if you struggle to get rid of them, you've got 3 CP to attack again. So you're attacking with a unit of Khorne Berserkers 3 times potentially, and the knight just can't stand up to it.
That sort of thing works. The most obvious one that I looked at when I ran the numbers, it's nuts, but it does work. The only issue is you're going to trade 1 for 1 pretty much every time you do it, because your opponent's not letting you do it twice. Is the Captain Slamguinius, Captain Smash, as he's known.
Yeah, someone's just asked in the chat how many of them will do the job.
One of them, on average, does 17 damage, but of course it's damage for a weapon, so it's actually 16 or 20 damage he does. You can then fight again, which will get rid of the knight.
Yep.
And you roll marginally above average. It's really not a big roll above average, and you're doing 24, which kills a knight. Captain Slam by himself will pretty much kill a knight. If you can get something else to hit as well, you should finish it. With his 3-up invuln, he should pretty much take the knight's hit backs. If the knight goes first, it shouldn't kill him. Big. Slam Captain does the work. If by some miracle he survives the counterpunch, because once you've sent him out there, he's probably going to be the closest target.
Yeah.
And an Avenged Gatling cannon will plume.
The thing is, if he's killing one knight, he's earned his points back and done a really
easily.
big part of the damage to your army. Like, especially if you can target him on the right one.
Yeah, easily. Captain Smash is, I think, 130 points, something like that. He's a bit of a command point investment, because to do the perfect version, you need to take the relic, you need to take the wall of trait, you need to spend CP to move him around. But the real horror show for a knight player is he can take the wings of, I think it's the Wings of Fire relic, and he can charge that 3d6 overwatching flamer, and they can't overwatch him because he's got the relic.
Yep, that's massive.
And then obviously if he goes in first, you can follow him up with, say, a unit of Death Company with a few Thunderhammers. Most Blood Angels players have one of them kicking around. And goodbye night. Job done.
Now,
and that's the end of the Valiant, and you're very rarely going to see more than one Valiant. So if you get rid of that Flamer,
the points cost.
If someone's bringing 2 Valiants to play against you, they're not bringing much else.
Yeah.
That's like 1,200 points to their army.
Yeah, and I think one of the interesting things is the counter to the Knights cost like half the points that you're looking at buying one, which is, quite a big issue in that there's like 600 points of your army gone from a 130 point captain.
Yeah, it's a
bad trade-off. It's a great trade-off. Great trade-off for the Slam Captain, but
it's the Knight players are going to have to be a little bit cagey, and the thing that I think you'll see a lot of Knight players do, at least at first, is walk out there. Woo! Another follower. Thank you very much, Debbie.
Thank you.
The thing I think you'll see a lot of Knight players do before they get a bit more experienced and looking at how to play properly is going to go, I'm a bunch of invincible steel behemoths, so I'm just going to barge forward up the board, get in range, all the damage. It's all about what the Knights can do to the opponents. And I think as time progresses, you're going to see less Knights, probably smaller, minimal Knight, probably smaller, more minimal Knight contingents, and more support for them.
Yeah.
I know that the lists I was looking at, and I was looking at running things like triple scout, double smash captain battalion, then standard guard CP farm. So 3 infantry squads, a company commander, and then I was actually going to take a Primaris Psyker just to get 1 deny on the list, because smite's going to be a problem for you. If you find that 1,000 Sun smite list, wait for them to roll low, just try and pop 1 smite away, hopefully. The other option there would be to take out one of the 2 detachments, because you command point farming both of those detachments, so you're getting the extra 5 for the battalions and rolling for the Vitae, the Grand Strategist, and the Aquila. So you should be command points for days there. The other option is to go slightly lighter on the command points. Personally, I'd keep the Blood Angel Scalp detachment because I really like the buffer. and take a double Quexus and Calgus as a Vanguard that's not quite a Vanguard with the new FAQ, to protect yourself from the smart lists and just push those Quexus up the board and say, deal with us.
Yeah.
Both are solid options. There's also ways to deal with knights that aren't killing knights. Matt touched on it earlier with using custo bites to trap them in combat. Because the way the knights rules work are they can fall back, shoot and charge, but they can't shoot in combat. Unlike other super heavies, stuff like the Shadow Sword, that sort of thing that you see, it can just stay in combat and shoot you. It doesn't care. It's actually very happy in combat because it can't be shot back.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of stuff aside from your Captain Slams, your big unicorn berserkers, even stuff like Gene Stealers. Shadow Sword don't care. It's winning on 6s. The knights can't shoot in combat. They have to fall back to do it. So if you can trap them, we're back to hostaging, my favourite trick. You can stop them from moving. Now, doing it with infantry is really hard because they walk over infantry. If you can get them damaged, they don't walk very far, and you can theoretically do it, but you're going to need a big blob of infantry. You're going to have to surround it all the way around, nice and thick, 2 or 3 layers of models deep, so they physically can't cover you, which is difficult and not ideal. The other trick, and it's something that happened a bit in 7th edition, which is quite funny, that's coming back, is they can't walk over units that aren't infantry, which means the best way to block in knights is to stand around them with Nurglings, hilariously. Sorry, Matt, go on.
Greg's just said a really good thing in the chat, and that is you can give a Valiant a 4 up in melee, 4++.
You can.
Which is, I mean...
That's the beauty of Khorne Berserkers.
I believe so.
yeah, well, it's very true.
It doesn't help against Khorne Berserkers, does help against Captain Smash.
Yeah.
But Captain Smash fighting twice still more or less kills the Valiant. Even with the 4++. It's it's a relic, so you'll see it on maybe one Valiant if your opponent chose to take that relic. I believe it's a relic. Might be a Warlord trait, could be wrong. But if it is a relic, they've not taken the reroll to wound Flamer, which is going to be the go-to for everyone taking the Valiant, because the reroll to wound relic is nuts.
Really good. Shred Flamer.
Yeah. Chris has just made he's very happy that Scarab Swarms do also have the Swarm keyword. Yep. They're not infantry, so yes, you can surround knights with Scarab Swarms so they can't fall back.
And
I thought they'd given it the rule that they could walk over swarms.
I believe it's only infantry.
As far as I
something's in regard to infantry and swarms in the rules, but I can't remember.
Okay.
I think they might be allowed to walk over swarms, but I wouldn't hold me to that.
It's funny Chris just mentioned the Scarab Swarms, because what we were talking about earlier with the ITC possible changes to the Champions missions was that swarms would be taken out of Gangbusters. Because at the moment, Scarab Swarms are a very easy way to kill. Easy way to get Gangbusters if you play it against Necrons, so that's a great secondary for ITC. One thing Chris mentioned a while back in the chat was taking Custodes Jetbikes versus a Knight as that third detachment. Now, Custodes Shield Captains are going to be probably a lot less popular now, based on the missiles. Those missiles are really good against Shield Captains. Missile stratagem, even if Shield Captains don't always hide. If you've got the stratagem there to do it, you don't need to see them anyway, so you just shoot it over. You ignore the invul, and it's -4 AP, I think, and just D6 damage. It's really good. But the Shield Captains also aren't as good against Knights. And if you're trying to make your army capable of facing Knights, and the meta's going to be changing up, spending 350, 400 points on 3 Shield Captains is not as doable.
Well, the other problem, the Shield Captains don't really care that much about the Shield Breaker missiles, because they've got to hit, wound, and get past 6 up save, especially if you brought that all-important -1 to hit banner. You actually only do about 1 damage to a Shield Captain in one of those missiles, because the D6 damage with the hit, and it's only a 2/3 chance to hit, 2/3 chance to wound because they're T6.
Yeah, freeze.
And then it's average D6 damage is 3.5. So you're actually only on about, I think it's 1.2 without the banner. With the banner, it'll be about 1.03 or something off the top of my head. So, yeah, shield captains aren't that bothered. The difference is that the knight's going to both bring a fear factor that the shield captains won't.
Yep.
It's going to draw all the fire because shield captains don't draw any fire because you can't target them.
Yep.
If you want a distraction unit, the knight's a much better distraction than the shield captains. What you're comparing there is a scalpel to a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
The shield captains go in, remove specific units, stop specific things doing things. The knight walks up and headbutts everyone in the face.
Depends a lot of what the rest of your list is.
Yeah, it's a case of what you need rather than what they can do. As a straight comparison, it's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
They're both very good. They're both extremely good in very different ways, so it's weigh up what you need for those.
Just to go back to our earlier point as well, I've just looked it up. Swarms cannot block knights in combat. They now have the rule to be able to move over them.
Okay, that is less ridiculous and makes sense. It's funny. So you can still do. I assume it's just infantry and swarms.
Yeah, those are the only two keywords.
So anything else, cavalry, monsters, though, why on earth you put monsters that close to?
That's not a good trade-off.
The one that's popping into my head purely because I've got a unit of 12 of them in the cabinet opposite me. Zangor Enlightened would be a nice block-up unit because they're cavalry. They're very fat. They have flies. They can actually consolidate over the knight's base. And they've all got an invulnerable save. They can all be made -1 to hit. They can essentially be sat there at -1 to hit with 4 invulns. The knight's going to have a hard time kicking them off.
Yeah.
And they auto wound on hit rolls of 6, which can be buffed to 5, which can be buffed to 4. So they're actually pretty good at slapping a knight around as well.
Yeah.
Not that Zangor Enlightened being a good unit is news to anybody. The rule of 3 buff dropped and stopped the 80+ Enlightened lists, which were impressive to look at, but pretty horrible to fight. But yeah, I think I've talked for about half an hour now solidly on knights, so I think we should probably move on to something else.
Yeah, Dave's just added Beast of Nurgle. They're cool.
Yeah,
they're not fast. They're hard to get in position, and to have the right number of them to surround the knight and not die to the knight in combat.
Yeah, they're not bad for holding the knight up. They're going to be hard for the knight to kill.
Yeah.
But they're very expensive to take in the numbers to surround it. You're probably spending as much as the knight to get a unit that'll stay there and surround it. Yeah. And the knight player has to walk into range of them because they're not chasing a knight down.
Yeah.
The perk of something like Nurglings are slow, but they can start mid-board. So they can cut down that movement necessary. Enlightened are very fast. Another one that popped into my head would be Seekers of Slanesh. Not that you see a lot of them, but you might start with the no deep strike meta. Seekers of Slanesh are a first turn charge, which a lot of Chaos players were getting from Zangor bombs or Bloodletter bombs, which they now can't do. So Seekers will do your first turn charge still, so you might start seeing them come back into the meta a little bit.
Yep.
And they are very good for locking up knights because you can, for not a lot of points, take a unit of 20 of them, and that will lock up a knight because you need about 5, I think, to surround a knight's base.
Yeah.
So you'll be there a while. And again, it's invuln saves, so anything with an invulnerable save is going to annoy a knight because they function on high damage, low rep fire. So anything that doesn't care about the high damage, high OP is love and life. Super expensive way to do it is you could do it with 6 Demon Princes. That'd be funny.
I think you can take about 10 Venoms for the same price as a Valiant, so there's a fun way to trap it in combat as well.
Watch it slowly destroy them one at a time.
Eat through them.
My issue with that plan, Mark, is it's going to kill every single Venom on Overwatch.
I didn't say it was a good plan, James. I pointed out that it's something
things like could hold up a knight and die.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they don't even hold it up because all 10 would just die on Overwatch one at a time as they charged it.
That flame is good.
So that's not an optimal plan, but it is a plan.
Yeah, the thing, knights do worry me as someone doing Dark Eldar though, which is a lot of poison weapons. So your natural weight of fire isn't doing anything against them, and they don't really have a unit that really dishes out the punishment in combat, I don't think. We ran, I think after Imps, we looked at doing it with Talos, and it wasn't viable.
Yeah, don't do it well.
Yeah, so that one is something that people are going to have to look at. Really find something that locks him up relatively well for a low cost, I think.
To address Chris's point in chat, the idea of not surrounding it in combat, not engaging it in combat to stop it, you could stop it moving, but if you're not engaging it in combat, it can shoot you. So it'll just blast a hole.
Yeah.
It's not really a good plan to stand slightly more than an inch away from a knight.
And if there's a flamer knight running around the board, you really want to put an end to that. Particularly with T3 models, because I believe that flamer's strength 6, so it's 3d6 wounding you on 2s. Strength 7, yeah. So even worse.
Yeah, no, that's not wonderful. I think Matt has been hostaged.
No.
Potentially. Lictors.
That's a lie. That's a big lie. I just had to go check something because of the noise in my house and checking what the cats had wrecked.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's a good one. Right, so what should we move on to? Anyone got any ideas?
Chris has asked for the detachment, which I don't think any of us are qualified to talk about. Because
I have 100% not played Necrons against. I haven't played against any yet. I haven't played against any, and I don't own a Necron army, so.
I have played with Necrons, I think, 3 times this edition. None of them after the Codex came out, and twice was my opponents writing my army list for me because they wanted a different kind of game.
Oh,
so,
I've got it. I've got the answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's my kind of army. A.
3 Tesseract bolts, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah. Easy to paint, low model count, featured on a lot of net lists. 2 witches have a +1 to wound stratagem because you can make them strength 5, and then with the +1 to wound stratagem, they wound it on 4s.
I think that might be for a specific cult. I know one of the cult obsessions is +1 to wound, maybe? I don't know. I hadn't really looked that much into any of the other cults because I know which one I want to run, and I will be sticking to that one.
Is that the cult of 100 Hellions, Mark? Oh, no, rule of 3 stopped you taking
free FAQ.
Yeah, Mark was ever so slightly salty about that FAQ when he bought 100 Hellions and got told he wasn't allowed to play 100 Hellions.
Hey, increase the point of my normal.
A little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth.
Oh well. I'm less upset.
Anyone else
I'm
in the chat?
not sure anyone would have enjoyed playing against that list.
Anyone else in the chat got anything they want us to cover?
As far as Necron detachments go, I think, Chris, what you're already running is pretty good. The Immortals are the standout troops choice. Destroyers are clearly the standout shooting option. The other option is to go combat heavy and play the Wraith army, which is also pretty nasty.
Yeah.
With the Deceiver, there's shenanigans in that book as well.
Unfortunately, Chris, they are no longer available.
But I have some Hellions, Chris, so we'll talk after the show.
MMX will hook you up with Hellions. We've got a bit of a Hellion monopoly.
MMX had a big Hellion monopoly when the Drukhari book came out.
We did.
There was a lot of gangs of Comorothians at home.
Also, almost as if 2 members of MMX were hoarding Hellions for a little while.
Wouldn't know about that, James.
Don't know. They move pretty fast. I never saw any.
Yeah.
Viability of Smash Brothers. What? Magnus and Mortarion against Knights. Mortarion's going to get shot a lot and die.
Yes and no.
I think it's maybe like a first turn game, that one.
Yeah, it depends. If Magnus and Mortarion can get their buffs up, if they get to go first and they can both be -1 to hit, if you can get the bonus on Magnus, you could be in business because they should both more or less kill a knight each a turn in combat. If they can get into combat fast enough, if the rest of the army can support them, it probably comes down to how many knights. If you're playing a full knight army, I think Magnus has a good shout. If you're playing against an army of sort of 3 or 4 knights with a big support buffer, it'll probably be a game of the knights and Magnus and Mortarion will kill each other, and then you both see what you've got left on the board.
He's talks about Death Shroud there, so Death Shroud to protect Morty.
Yeah, Death Shroud protect Morty is an expensive way of doing it. I'm not really a fan. I think Morty is going to be Morty. If you're spending more points to protect him, I'd rather spend them on characters to buff him rather than on Terminators. Yeah. I don't really think there's any Terminators in the game right now who are actually worth taking.
There we go. I think that's very accurate. I don't think anyone's got Terminators that are doing any good.
I just for the shiggles earlier, I ran the numbers on trying to take down a knight with my 10-man Terminator blob. It's very difficult. You're looking at shooting twice with Vets of the Long War. You need prescience, then you need to get the charge in, barely lose anyone in the Overwatch, and then you're doing Vets of the Long War again. And I think that overall, because you're having to infiltrate as well, you're looking at 7 command points to try and get that off, and you don't kill the knight doing it. So it's
yeah. To address what Dave's just said in chat as well, low rate of fire working Terminator's advantage. Not really, because almost everything's damage 2 or average damage.
Everything's damage 2 or more, minus his AP, and it's not that low rate of fire. Even the battle cannons are 2d6 shots that are doing D3 damage and minus 2.
So, minus 2, so you put in Terminator 4-ups.
Yep.
You're going to kill a lot more Terminators than Terminators are going to kill of Knights. And for the points cost of a unit of Death Shroud, you're not really protecting Morty much. The points per damage efficiency is really low. You're much better off. You're
paying for melee weapons that you're not going to use.
You're also paying for wounds that Morty doesn't want to stand next to, because realistically Morty should be the first one in that fight. If you're taking Magnus and Morty to fight knights, Magnus wants to hang out, smite people, stay away from the knights' close combat weapons, at least for the first turn, and buff Morty. So what you're realistically going to do is put -1 hit on both of them, buff Magnus's invulnerable save, and warp time Morty in to punch somebody. Because Morty's going to go first. He's got more chance. Morty's got more chance of doing the damage. And that mortal wound bubble that he throws around, it's good to start chipping at knights, because I think Magnus and Morty both average 21 damage against knights, which isn't quite enough to kill them. So you need something to chip a few more off.
Yeah.
That mortal wound bubble's a good start. So Morty will take the counterpunch better. So turn 1, Morty should be flying up the board, at which point his Death Shroud Terminators are twiddling their thumbs in the deployment zone.
Yeah, I think if you're running that, the rest of your army probably wants to just be Plague Bearers to wrap up the rest of the board.
If at any point you're thinking about, here's my Chaos Army and I've got 1,000 points spare after I take all the big hitter stuff, take 90 Plague Bearers as some support characters, and we'll discuss your other options later. That's the way to play at the moment with Chaos, particularly in ETC missions, because they're so ridiculously objective based, and drawing the right cards is easy when you're stood on all 6 objectives with Plague Bearers. Don't forget your Gary the Narmal.
Yeah. A lot of Nurgle. See, this is what I've seen a lot of people taking Nurgle Demon lists. A lot of them that rely on shooting and not taking Nalmors.
It's partially we're back to the meta of productivity.
Yeah. It doesn't do anything, but it does.
Not even that. It's Nalmors sold out almost instantly and are only just coming back into stock, so people just can't get them. I know we had a chap attend our Bone and Hull event this is prior to the FAQ, and he was running 6 of the Nurgle tanks, the Plague Crawlers, is it?
Yep.
Yep.
And he ran 6 of them and no tree. And I said to him after the event, why on earth didn't you bring the tree? It would have made that army so much better. And he went, I couldn't get my hand on them. There weren't any. Couldn't even get them off eBay at ridiculous prices.
I wish someone had told me this.
Yeah.
2 trees in the cupboard there. One thing Ricey Lack has just asked is, do we think Space Wolves will get Lean on Russ? I think that's a certainty. I think the rumours have been pointing that way for the last year, and I think that's probably the reason Space Wolves have been waiting so long for a Codex. If they don't get it with the Codex, I think they will get it later this year, or at least soon.
I think a lot of people were talking about a potential campaign book.
Yeah, that's been a rumour.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure.
Okay.
I think that from GW's point of view, it'll sell. It'll sell like hotcakes, which is a big plus to why they do it. But Primarchs haven't necessarily been good for the game from a rules writing perspective, in that there's very, very few people who whoop for joy when their opponent puts down Guilliman, Magnus, or Mortarion. They're not particularly enjoyable to play against. Magnus and Morty more so nowadays, that they lost, Magnus especially now, he lost a lot of his defensive buffs. But they seem to be pricing them up. There's not been a points increase. There's not been an event where there were points increases yet where Guilliman didn't get a points increase.
I think there's a strong chance of him coming in. I think the way 8th edition's going and the way they're doing things, I don't think that part of it. Yeah, exactly what Dave said. I don't think that matters at all. I don't think anyone is sat there going, "Oh, this is people aren't going to enjoy playing this Primarch." Put 7 points on the Dark Reapers.
You can make the argument that if they cared that much, then Ynnari would have gotten a lot bigger nerf than they ended up doing in the big FAQ.
Yeah, I think they're learning as the edition goes on, which is why Magnus has changed so much from his index form. I think.
Okay. I'll rephrase.
Primarch.
I think they may get Russ. I don't think Russ will be as powerful as Magnus, Mortarion, or Guilliman.
Okay.
I think they'll bring in Russ, and he'll either be very expensive or watered down.
Yeah. I think that'd be better.
I don't think what they're going to do is bring in some reroll everything, kill everybody in combat monster. Because realistically, without psychic powers, for him to be on the same power level as Magnus and Morty, he's got to be a Guilliman. He's got to be either a buff machine or just absurdly powerful.
Yep.
I think, sort of fluff-wise, it makes more sense that he'd be an absolute combat monster. Rather than being someone who buffs something else, he should be someone who wrecks first.
Rather than rerolls and things, I could see Russ acting kind of like the Wolfen do. I think.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
How rerolls charges, extra attacks, extra charge range, maybe prospect advantage charge, that sort of thing. I think he will be another buff machine, which seems to be the way Marines go. It seems to be Marines seem to be more about those auras, whereas you find yourself with stuff like the Xenos armies in especially Tyranids, which obviously I'm very familiar with, and a lot of the Chaos armies are more about increasing the stats, as opposed to Marines are all about, here's the base stats, here's what Marine is, now we're going to make them more efficient by re-rolling everything.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, looking at what Marine characters do, almost none of them actually buff the stats. They just go, here are your stats, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. So I think Russ will probably go the other way, and we'll see him throwing out big buffs. And I do think he'll probably hit on par with someone like Magnus or Mortarion. Yeah. I think we'll be looking at 6-7 attacks, hitting on 2s, obviously. There's no way he doesn't hit on 2s.
Yeah.
He'll be massive strength. We'll be looking at probably strength 10 plus, doing flat 3 or D6 damage, something like that.
Yeah, it'll be D6.
He'll be a combat monster.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be 100% surprised if they gave him a weapon that ignored invulns as well.
Yeah. I mean, his 30k version is very good at dueling.
He also is an absolute nightmare to actually shoot back. Obviously, it's not going to be as big a thing in this edition where you can't target characters anywhere. But I know in 30k, he's got something like a minus something to hit until like the first or second turn's over.
There's a question. Are they going to make Russ, who should be a big beefy dude, kicking the crap out of people, are they going to put him under 10 wounds like they did Guilliman? Or do you think he'll be a big boy like Magnus and Morty?
He won't be as big a model unless he's mutated Wolfenade, which he may well be, because he's been in the freaking Eye of Terror. So
it's a possibility, but I don't think he'll be as big a model as Magnus or Mortarion, but I don't think they can make the same mistake again and make him 9 wounds.
I think they've got to make him more than 10, but I'm not sure if they will.
The problem is the issue there. If they make him less, you get the ability to hide. If you make him more, you need to make him significantly more that he can survive being shot at, which those guys can do because they've got the 18 wounds or whatever. But they're Demon Primax. He's not a Demon Primax, so then you've got to explain, well, why has this guy got twice the wounds of Gilliman?
I could potentially see him being more than 10 wounds, but him getting a negative hit modifier like they've done in 30k.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised by something like that. Say 12 wounds, 14 wounds, something like that. But he'll either have, I believe there used to be an item called the Belt of Russ a few editions ago that gave out a 3-up invulnerable. If Leman Russ isn't wearing the Belt of Russ, who the hell's stolen it?
I'll have that back, please.
There's every chance he's a 12-wound character with 3-up invuln or something.
At
which point he's pretty much as tough as Magnus and Morty.
Yeah.
And some sort of defense against psychic powers, I'd imagine, as well, because it's not someone you just want to get death hexed again and then.
There's no reason why he wouldn't have some sort of deny or something like that, because he has naturally been resilient to it before.
Yeah. I think it will be. Oh yeah, Dave's got a good point. Maybe a damage reduction, a built-in damage reduction.
It's the -1 to the damage roll down to a minimum of 1 or something is a fairly common stat that's coming in now.
Now we're making him impervious to autocannons.
Yes.
How am I going to deal with Russ?
Like everything else in the game. Do you want
Not Shining Spears.
The Belt of Russ?
Yeah.
Good to know.
Excellent news. What else has been said in the chat? Houseless Knights, John. The free blades. I've not spent enough time looking at them yet. We haven't got an early codex, so we can only go on what's been leaked. So a lot of it has, but I don't think there's going to be a Necron Rust, Chris. It would
surprise everyone.
I would like to see some. See, I'm someone who, when the Catan came out, I was playing originally, and I don't like how Deus Ex Machina the Catan were when they were first shoehorned in, but I liked that there was 4 Catan. And that they did the different things. I don't like the current Catan fluff where you have them in the vault and stuff like that. Yeah. So big original Catan would fit nice in 8th, but they can't revamp it, and the Necron book's out. I'd love to see the Catan. The Catan should be up there with Primarchs, but one thing I don't want to see is the game just turn into that for every army. So
Hero Hammer.
Yeah, every Marine army has Gilliman. Every Chaos army has Mortarion or Magnus. I know Mortarion's taking a back foot at the moment with the way the meta's going, but yeah, I don't want to see every Necron army using one of 2 because the Outsider and the Dragon.
Question for you guys: if you could bring one Primarch that isn't back yet back into the game, just sort of fluff wise, not even rules wise, who would it be? Just to see a model or something on the table.
Is this for us two and the chat?
Yeah, sure. Chat can join in. Obviously, for me personally, it's Jagatai Khan.
Yeah.
I'm still fairly convinced that Space Marines are a myth, so I honestly don't know what most Primarchs do. The only Legion that I play is Thousand Suns. They've got Magnus. I like the Magnus model. I'm pretty happy. I honestly don't really know what most of the Primarchs did or what they were fluff-wise. It's really not my thing. So I will answer with Magnus, and I'm happy.
I do also like the answer of Lorgar in there, but Lorgar deserves to stay in the warp. He did a good job. He doesn't have to involve himself. He's currently looking at me from a shelf. He's not particularly happy with what I'm saying, I don't think.
I thought Lorgar was, just sat crying in a room somewhere.
He's Netflix binge, isn't he? Watching Hannibal.
I've been watching Hannibal. That's a show that will ruin your...
That's what Hannibal sees on.
That's what we see about James when he doesn't know Primax. Yes, exactly what Dave just said. Dawn. Well, not Dawn, but Dawn. Dawn with a tash. Come on, Gilliman is moving out of. He started in Dominatus Crusade. Let's just make this bigger so we can't see him at all. That always works wonders. In fact, there you go. Look. I mean, this is perfect to put this picture on now. Let's make Terror great again. Dawn will be here. He's hammerable, exactly. Dawn, he lost his hand apparently. So I think giving him a giant fist is too cliche. Imperial fist, Crimson fist, give him a giant fist, too cliche. Hook hand, Dawn. Look at the new knight, harpoon hook. It'd be like Blitzcrank in League of Legends. It'd be like all those other characters. Scorpion, get over here. That's all you need. We've killed Mark. I think
that's his chain weapon. So why don't we give him a big chain fist?
As long as it fires off. I mean, he's been all about the defence.
It's a chain on a chain.
If Gilliman's coming back and going, hang on, we need to push out from Terra. We need to take back the thing. We're gonna ham this up. Dawn needs to come back and be like, yeah, good point, bro. Like, we could defend this, but let's just push out.
Just rips the codex in half.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's this? What's this shit, loser? Throws it out. Not the lictors got him again.
Yeah. Those lictors are everywhere.
They are.
Yeah.
You can't see them.
I want to see Dawn. I got enough Imperial Fist stuff that's not painted. I need a reason to convince people to paint it. Yeah. It's my idea, man. You buy every army, and then when stuff comes out, you can just claim you did it. Psycho Scum. My second would be Perturaba, but that's because I'm holding on to this mental image of Demon Prince Perturaba being this burn and metal clockwork monstrosity. That would be amazing.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Do some weird steampunk Primarch.
Yeah.
Sanguinius is dead and was a little bitch.
Yeah. Apart from he wasn't. He was amazing. Shut up. Horus, already been cloned multiple times and killed. But we've not really seen... See, with the way the fluff's gone on now in 40k, there's so much to happen. Like, what is... We know... what's his name? Chaos. Fabulous Bile. We know he knows about the Primaris. We know he's excited about the Primaris. What I don't want to see is Chaos Primaris. I don't want that easy out.
No.
Chaos guys can get big. You can have Primaris sized Chaos guys just from mutation. I don't want to see that. I want to see what Bile's going to do. This is the guy who's been cloning Primarchs. Like, he's obsessed with cloning Primarchs. He probably knows so much like about the gene seed, about everything, and how to do stuff. I want to see what he does.
Gilliman.
Let's not make a better Gilliman.
Bad Gilliman.
I want to see what's going on with Cole. And all of the seed Primaris he's got. Like, he's got 10,000 Primaris made with traitor gene seed. That's cool.
I can't wait until the word bearer.
Mars Civil War. I mean, hang on. Maybe we know Dark Mechanicum is a keyword.
Yep.
Is that what we're going to see? Is that going to be the
Please,
schism in a year or two?
I'd love Chaos Hellbarons. Get me some of those. Get me some auto cannons that are damage 3.
Chris,
I just want it to not happen, so Mark's not happy. That made me a bad person.
I would cry. I'm not running Imperial auto cannons because they don't work as well.
Chris has just said a good point. He should clone a Primarch. Primarchs. We're seeing the Orcs. Rumours are that they are going to be getting a lot of new releases. It's going to be different to what we've seen before, and they're getting a big release.
Can't wait until Redemptor size.
I think we're getting Gazgul. We're getting Gazgul. Yeah.
Gazzy.
We're getting Prime Gazgul, and I cannot wait. Now that is a character. If you're bringing Lehman Russ back as a combat monster, Gazzy needs to be able to take out these Primarchs. Doesn't necessarily need to give a greater WAR ability that lets them, get plus to their charge range or extra attacks and stuff like he has now. That would be perfect. I don't want to see Gazgul. Like, he's going to have the armor on, that's fine. But I want him to be a threat to Primarchs.
I think they're missing a trick if they don't bring out a campaign book with the Orcs. I think there needs to be a huge thing with them. I think if there was ever a time to bring back a Primarch, it should be to hold back the green tide.
Where is that the next Chaos Primarch is in Fulgrim or Angron? Angron, Armageddon. Angron's been banished on Armageddon. He likes Armageddon. Formerly Ullanor. The Orcs were there. That's where the beast was. That's where they fought the beast. That's where Gazgul is.
Big name is Ullanor.
Yeah. We go to Armageddon. We see Gazgul. We see Angron.
That's a fight I want to see.
Who was it who fought when Angron was there before? What Space Marine chapter? What Space Marine chapter led by a big wolfy guy?
I genuinely...
Space Wolves.
Yeah. I gathered once you said big wolfy guy, thank you.
James only knows Nidlaw, so if it doesn't go, it's just over his head.
As far as I'm concerned, Sigourney Weaver is the arch nemesis of the Tyranids.
Yeah, I think she is a Primarch.
Yeah, it's an accurate story.
She's one of the lost ones, isn't she?
It's also interesting all this because I'm pretty sure everybody that we've mentioned is a Gene Stealer and a coach. So
yes,
that's just my outlook on the 40k universe. I'm going to make Gene Stealer Cold Knights. So I'm very happy about it. I'm a disturbed individual.
So I think at that point we are probably running out of stuff to talk about from now on.
Yeah, it's
so
sort of descended.
It's descended into Gene Stealer Magnus. So yeah, there's the next box game. I don't think we're going to see another box game for 40k for at least till later in the year. But
I wouldn't expect it till we've got all the codexes. I would almost go on a limb and say the next box game might have Sisters of Battle in it.
I don't think that's
a strong possibility. But yeah, we will be streaming next week. Where probably won't be streaming this weekend on Monday, so we'll probably look at Tuesday or Wednesday next week. We'll have a recap of Soft Lads, our games there, and what went on. I'm going to try and do some unboxing videos on the channel as soon as I get a chance. We'll put up on Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch when we're going to be streaming, so people can see that. The best way to do that is follow us on Twitch so you can see when we go live. If you follow us on Twitter, deals over here, so we've got at Team MMX, Team MMX on Twitch, or at MMX Stream on Facebook. You can see when we are going live, and we'll try and put it up as soon as we can, and obviously try and win that night or win 2 nights. Other than that, try and get stuff out as soon as we can, try and get a battle report up as soon as we can, and do what we're going to do. Try and get some more content out for everyone.
Yeah, working on it.
So, Mark, got any last words?
Autocannons. Need I say more?
Yep. Strong ending statement. James?
I look forward to meeting Mark on the field of battle tomorrow morning.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. And I am going to orc myself out, and I have 6 orcs left to paint for tonight before the tour tomorrow. I'm not in the most helpful view though. I've never got to actually play tabletop ever. Law stuff that look. Okay. If we're going on games played, I only play events. I only get time to play in events mainly, so it doesn't matter. And as you'll see, me and Mark will lore out as much with you. James will tell you how to play the game. But yeah,
James, you just bitch about your autocannons. You don't want to. James.
But yeah, give us a follow, Psychoscum, and you'll see when we're on next time. And
we've just had one comment on the chat there.
Yeah.
Asking if we have a YouTube for our vids. Yes, everything that we do on Twitch gets put across to our YouTube, which Matt will very helpfully tell you what it is in a minute, because I can't remember what the URLs are.
Oh, hang on. If I do this quickly, I can do that and go. It is Team MMX. If you just search for Team MMX on YouTube, anything we do on here, we do upload to there. There's only 2 videos on that at the moment because we've just started. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of content on there soon. We're gonna keep putting stuff out. It won't. Yeah, it'll be battle reps. It'll be tournament recaps. It won't just be that though. We're gonna try to do some painting stuff when we're just sat painting and chilling. We will do some we can chat lore with new books when they come out. Got different guests to come on to talk about different game systems. We're both, we said in the last video, me and Mark are going to play the new Fallout game. We've got God's here on the way next year. We play X-Wing. We've got a lot of X-Wing players at the club who can come on and do demos and battle reps and stuff like that. And just talk about anything. Any merch, Chris? Well, not yet. Not yet. Watch this space. We're not really big enough for merch yet. We got Blood Bowl. Thanks, David Hull. Yes, Blood Bowl is on the agenda.
Definitely.
If I want some Team MMX dice, Team MMX dice are something we may see sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
But
so you may have to join the team to access them initially.
Yeah. I'll come on and tell you all about Necrons. Well, that will be a pleasure, Chris. We'll get you on Skype sometime. And even just if we have a Skype chat about any events you've done, you're in a different part of the country from us down in Derby, so close enough for us to see you, close enough to come to our events, but obviously you've got more events and access to Warhammer World there for stuff you want to do. Did your campaign weekend the other weekend? That went well, so maybe we'll get you on sometime for a chat about Necrons. No, I mean that's what this is all about, really. Just getting the word out there. So, bye bye.